I think we're live. We're live. It's a live
We're
pre-show.
live.
Let's do this brought to you by SpinwhizComics.com. I said I had something new for this. Did I even upload the damn thing?
Probably not.
I did.
The odds are random at best.
This is classy. I know you didn't do this, Gomer.
You're absolutely right. I did not make that. I don't know who made that, but Big Willie sent it to me. Thanks, Big Willie. That's right. It's the pre-show where we talk about what we're going to do on the show, brought to you by SpinwhizComics.com. SpinwhizComics.com is a comic and webcomic discovery platform. It's a comic book reader. iOS app, Android app. There's a ton of free comics, over 400 titles, more and more every day, 86 different indie creators. They got Source Point Press stuff, Tidal Wave stuff, Marcosia stuff, so many more. Free comics, y'all. That's really all you need to know about.
It's free comics. You can't be free comics. Just
I don't even know why you're
stop
still
listening
here.
to us and go read some comics.
You have everything to gain and nothing to lose.
That's right.
Pretty much.
It's just amazing to me that you can do something like that, get there. But we're going to talk about what we're going to do on the show. We have some great news. We teased that a little while ago amongst ourselves. But are we going to talk about Joker War in the news? Should we do that before the build-in to... Why we talk about it as
why
a
are we
whole,
talking about it in the news?
And how disappointed I was in it. And
well,
how about like after the news, but before we start the comic segments?
Well, it'll be brought up in the comics, so you can.
I'm sure.
Oh, it's somebody's top 3. Good, because I'm going to shit all over that person.
Well, I read
shit.
4 comics this week.
That book was dog shit. The whole event.
I guess it has to be my honorable mention.
All right, so yeah, we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about Joker War. You guys know that. It was a big Ten of Swords week. It was a big...
Yeah, that's all of Gomer's top 3 right there.
It is. That's a big
I know it
alert.
is. You don't have to. I
was so blown away by this week's books. So yeah, that's what we're going to talk about in that segment of the show. How about that video though? For Spinwhiz Comics.
It was much better than anything you could have made.
It is.
Very classy.
Yeah. I did not make that. That was a professional.
Yeah, you don't have to tell us.
Let's see what else we got going
way
on.
above what you were capable of.
What else we've got going on the network? Tomorrow we have our regular preview show, but then Tuesday, top 5. You guys are both invited, but Adam, you have to be here.
Oh, I have to be here?
It's mandatory. I'm not allowed to say it's mandatory, so let's just say it's compulsory.
God damn it, Gomer.
Does this affect my grade for the final?
It's not exactly. It's not top 5 graphic novels anymore. But man, I've been doing hella research this weekend on my top 5 graphic novels.
Well, I've done 0 research. So
well, it's still over a month away. But I want to make sure I'm up on it. I'm rereading Red Sun, which is great. I reread Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow by Alan Moore. Mwah, chef's kiss. Beautiful. Did he create John? He created John, the son. He was the first to introduce that concept. Fuck y'all, he was Alan Moore's god.
Character, but
Alan Moore's
Superman's had a bunch of kids pop up in various continuities.
Yeah, that's true. This is different. This is the first and only time. Okay, so we're not doing top 5 graphic novels because David was going to be out, but now David's dumbass is going to be out even longer. I say it with love. I miss him so much. I wish he was back. But he will be back later than normal. So we're just going to move top 5 graphic novels up a month. But anyway, that's a month or so away. We're doing top 5. What the hell is it again? Comic book movies that are not in the MCU. No animation.
You forgot what it was.
And I already have my list made out. I haven't looked at my list in like a week. I need to look over it again before we actually do the show. Because I'll be like, holy shit,
every single one of those movies again.
No, I'm not gonna. I'll rewatch them. I remember what happened, but that's actually this week. That is Tuesday, the 13th. And we also are doing the Geekterion collection. That is next week on the 20th. That's also a Tuesday. Jules will be here for that. We are doing They Live, the classic. I have rewatched that, and man, I got some negative things to say about
negative things.
I do. As much as it tried to do something.
That's good. That's good though.
Way to whet their
I'll be
appetite for the
interested to see your
podcast they're going.
perspective and Joel's perspective clash.
Yes,
Well,
they will definitely clash.
Something can be classic and something can be a great film without necessarily being perfect. I mean, you can say negative things about anything.
Sure.
There are definitely aspects of that movie that have not aged well.
It's not even that. It couldn't get past its own Orwellian premise, I think is the way I put it in my notes. But that's the teaser for that. Again, this is the pre-show brought to you by SpinwhizComics.com. It's just an app where you can get comics, y'all. But that is so awesome. They have an Android app and an iOS app. Check them out. SpinwhizComics.com. Let's do the show. Let's do the main. Let me find the video for that. You figured I'd be good at this.
No, I would not figure you would be good at this by now. I know for a fact you are not.
You don't think anybody will watch that garbage?
Some people will watch anything, Scarlett.
I've met everyone's expectations, though. That's a good thing. I've met everyone's expectations.
It's easy to meet expectations so people don't have any for you.
Exactly. That's the key.
Yeah.
The key. Greetings, geeks! Welcome back to another episode of This Geek in Comics, Outright Geekery's comic book shit talk show.
Shit talk show!
Thank you. Don't leave me hanging. I am your co-host, Gomer. With me, as always, Adam Normal and Taylor, a.k.a. David. We'll be back eventually. I don't know when. This is segment 1 where we talk about what we've been up to this week. I have been watching horror movies and a horrible movie, Terminator Dark Fate. I got to catch that finally. God, what a turd. What a great
behind
action.
On Terminator movies, man. I've given up a long time ago on following that franchise.
Now, I have a hard time keeping up with the taglines here. Like, okay, so Dark Fate was the one that came out like a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, that was the one where old-ass Sarah Connor came back.
They brought back like the T-1000 and stuff
no,
like that.
that was more. It was Arnold who was the T-101.
Oh, yeah, but like Arnold was the T-800, and we had old-ass Arnold in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we also had like a T-1000, like a liquid one that was like a cop again and everything, right?
Well, it was kind of like that.
Trailer. No, it was a T-1000 around a T-800, right?
Exactly. That's what it was. It's a T-1000.
Right. Sorry.
Who, like, the skin is like nanobot sludge
so
or
it's
whatever.
like 2 Terminators and
it's like 2 fucking Terminators. And dude, they really
can
played
jump
it up.
twice as many sharks at the same time.
They really played it up how they would the dude was sitting there flying the helicopter, right? And then the goo part came off of him and jumped out of the helicopter while the robot part was still flying the helicopter. I mean, they really played up to it very well. It was really cool to see Sarah Connor as a character with that Terminator as a character old.
Sarah Connor is always one of the worst parts about Terminator.
Oh, she definitely is one of the worst parts of that movie. Yeah, but it's weird. Like John Connor dies in it, and the way they play it off is, well, when they sent that Terminator in Terminator 2, they also simultaneously sent like a bunch of other Terminators. But even though we stopped that future, all of that happened at the same time. So these Terminators from the future that we stopped, that we avoided, are still coming back to the present, wherever that present is.
They're
the
really
future of Terminator 2. This actually ignores all the movies except Terminator 1 and 2.
Well, that's good, because all the other ones after it are not great.
Are garbage, yeah, are garbage.
The one where it was like entirely in the future, it had like Christian Bale in it. That one I thought was not
it had really good action scenes.
It's not.
It had
great,
Jeremy Ironside in it, so that's a plus for me. But if you remember in the trailer, there was that girl who had like the short blonde hair. She's an augment from this new future where there's no Skynet. There's this thing called Legion.
Oh my fucking god!
And she's like a human who has robot powers.
There's another apocalypse to stop.
But it's weird because they really played it off in this weird way, man. Like I get like the pro-feminism sort of thing, but they sort of had this bait and switch where, oh yeah, you're going to give birth to the savior of whatever, but not really. The girl that they were rescuing, that they were to save and the Terminator was trying to murder, was the hero, was the John Connor character. So, but it felt so just,
I mean, honestly, instead of trying to like weave these convoluted continuities together, just make a remake. That would be
start over.
That's all they
Just
need
start
to do.
over without. You don't have to do Arnold in it.
I know people shit
no
on
more
remakes, but rather that than like a sequel that's like a million years later and trying to weave together frickin' time travel stories.
100%. It's so it's overcooked. It's done. Okay, what have you guys been doing? I've been watching a shit ton of horror movies too.
Man,
I think I'm
that's
like
what I've been
18.
doing. I've just been watching a shit ton of just shitty old horror movies, a lot of slashers, a lot of Jason movies and Freddy movies.
Nice.
Yeah. I was on a fall break this Thursday and Friday. So
vacation time.
Basically just sat around playing video games and also got some errands done.
What are you playing? Anything new?
I'm still playing through the Avengers game. I'm still enjoying it. Also plugged back in Spider-Man for the first time in a while.
Fun.
Oh,
that new
yeah.
Miles Morales looks so hot, dude. Looks so great.
Those are pretty sick, yeah.
Yeah, that Spider-Man game is great. I really enjoyed it.
It's one of the better one of the better superhero video games ever, and it's one of the better video games, period, to come out in the last few years. So,
All right, cool. Let's do the news. I think we'll let Taylor start because I know Taylor's first news is going to be my first news. So go ahead, Taylor.
Was it the Caterpillar thing?
Yeah, go ahead with the Caterpillar thing.
Okay, so apparently in Virginia, they are finding these fuzzy-ass caterpillars that are, in fact, venomous. So if you had venomous caterpillars on your 2020 bingo card, go ahead and check that one off, I suppose.
I think this will end up like murder hornets. We'll just talk about it for a week, and then we'll never
go
talk
away.
about it again.
Yeah, it'll just
maybe. I mean, they should be pretty easy to avoid, honestly. I'm looking at the picture here, and they look like tribbles, honestly.
Like from Star Trek. Like
are they any specific color?
The ones I'm looking at here are one's kind of like a blondish brown, and another one's more of a darker brown. So
dirt.
There's a variety.
So dirt colored, great. That should be easy. Yeah, it's probably a good idea to wear some shoes when you're outside. 2020 is the year of just dumb, man. Just wear shoes outside. Everyone's like, "You're ruining my fun to go barefoot outside." Because of these murder.
Well, if 2020 has taught us anything, it's that the second you tell someone, hey, you probably shouldn't do this, it's their God-given, undeniable right to do that very thing.
That's how this show started.
This is the hill they will die on.
They were like, Gomer, you have no business having a podcast live stream. And you're like, I'll show you freedom.
You doing this out of spite actually explains a lot. So
it makes a lot of sense.
News. I know which one you got.
So they're doing a live-action Green Lantern series on HBO Max.
This is your new. This is the news you're starting with, the live-action Green Lantern.
That's kind of cool.
I like Green Lantern.
I love Green Lantern too. I didn't know this was news. I thought this news came out at the DC fandom thing that they had.
It's really, for whatever reason, it was really spiking up this week. I saw.
Yeah.
But yeah, that seems pretty cool. I think we were talking on the chat. I saw people talking about wouldn't have gone with Guy in my perfect world. Not Guy Gardner, but
well, it's on HBO Max. So if you watch any of the HBO shows, Sopranos or 6 Feet Under, or Oz, you remember Oz with the prisons? Oh my God! So that kind of fits with Guy Gardner because he's a scumbag.
Yeah, pretty much.
I guess
he's a scumbag Green Lantern. It's going to be a scumbag cop show.
He's an easy character to do a cop procedural around.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what it's going to be? They have to get the constructs right.
I mean,
dude.
The first impression will probably be that Guy Gardner's the hard nose, whatever Michael Chiklis's character from The Shield was.
Yeah.
And you have Jessica Cruz, I guess, is
who is whatever Michael Chiklis was in The Commish. So the lovable loser.
We're getting the full spectrum of Michael Chiklis in the show.
No, I'll just be interested to see them do Simon Baz's story because I think his story is probably origin is probably the most timely of the origins.
Well,
that seems like the Green Lantern for 2020. In all honesty,
Jessica too, though
Jessica's great.
Yeah,
Jessica is one. I really like her as a character. I really did love that comic they put out a few years ago where it was Simon and Jessica
Green Lantern
buddy cop thing.
Yeah.
That was one of the better Was that part of Rebirth? I think. Yeah,
Yeah, that was Rebirth.
Probably.
that was one of my favorite comics to come out. I thought it was really good while it lasted.
Yeah. So they have to get the constructs right, man. It's got to be a matter of doing the special effects.
Yeah.
Or how? I mean,
this is
yeah.
the type of show that's totally going to live or die based off of how good the special effects are.
I think so, man. But hey, they're going to dump some money into it, so
I hope they put my favorite Green Lantern, Kyle Rayner, on there at some point.
we'll see.
That would be nice.
Everyone loves Kyle. Fucking wuss.
Fuck
I'm
you,
gonna save the TF news for Adam for the next round. So I'll go that Ryan Utley.
That's in the moment of destruction, man.
Oh, is it? Oh, you want to save that for the moment of destruction?
It's TF
Why
news.
the fuck
Okay.
wouldn't you save it for the Transformers segment?
Okay. No, you're not wrong. It just occurred to me. Ryan Otley is off Spider-Man. He made this decision. He made this decision.
He needs to get off that shit book,
His
even though
last
his art
issue-
has been great.
His art's great. His last issue was 850, which is actually number 49 from this week. I don't think anybody's gonna talk about it.
Did that was a massive issue, and he did the vast majority of it. So
He only did 20 whole issues of Spider-Man. That's it.
I never gave the Spider-Man book a chance because I saw that Nick Spencer was coming off of it, was writing
you're
it.
not
And
missing much.
I was at peak. How dare you do that to Captain America? So
it was out of principle. I'm not reading your Spider-Man book, sir.
Also, that was when Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man was still going, and I usually do just like one book per character.
Tom Taylor was, and I was.
That was good shit.
Oh, it was so good. I think it was Juan Cabal on that book, maybe. Anyway, Patrick Gleason is solicited for the next few issues. Mark Bagley's on number 53. Otley said he does have. This is my question for you two. Does have another project at Marvel. He is doing some pre-production designs right now. He did all this on Twitter, guys. It's social media. You should check it out. He has nothing solicited currently at Diamond. What will he do next? What character or book do you want to see
Mark Bagley
Ryan Otley on next?
Ryan Otley.
Ryan Otley. Bagley's taking over 53. It looks like, or filling in at least. So, I mean, those are still good artists on Spider-Man, is what I'm saying. Patrick freaking Gleason and Mark Bagley. I mean,
well,
what do you want to see
Cosmic
Ryan
is so
Otley?
heavy right now. I think he's going to do a Donny Cates Cosmic book. You know, I don't know what
You
it
could
what
grab a Venom
specifically.
book.
Maybe you can get on Venom after
That's basically doing
King
a
is
Spider-Man
Black.
book.
Yeah,
That's basically doing a Spider-Man book. So that doesn't count. I would not mind him doing a Guardian since you're going to go Cosmic.
That could be cool.
That'd be good.
Like Silver Surfer might be neat if he could just be traveling from place to place, like drawing weird ass aliens, you know?
Man, I don't know. All right, what's next? News. You guys got more news?
Doctor Strange is going to be in Spider-Man 3.
Oh yeah.
So I guess that explains the Jamie Foxx thing from last week.
Yeah.
This means Venom could come over too, right? What's his name?
Yeah, it does.
You know my biggest problem with this?
Makes all of those Sony movies unofficial MCU movies now.
Exactly. My biggest problem with this, Peter Parker doesn't need a mentor anymore.
True.
Let the boy grow up.
I don't know that Doctor Strange is going to be stepping into the mentor role per se.
That's what they've been saying, though. That's what the rumor is.
Doctor Strange, it might end up where his MCU role is pretty much the same as his Marvel Universe role, where he is just the gateway to the weird mystical crap for all these other characters.
Yeah, he's just the guy who shows up every once in a while when a character needs to do a mystic arc.
So is he going to be like the Madam Web to a Spider-Verse sort of thing?
Maybe.
I mean, better that than introducing Madam Web, honestly.
Yeah, no shit. You guys want to see the other Spider folks coming over?
No. All the other Spider folks are in bad, terrible movies, and I like the MCU the way it is. I don't know why people are excited about all this multiverse crap, because unless they're the only good Spider-Man movie, literally the only one that's been good for like the last decade, was Into the Spider-Verse. And they're bringing in all these characters who are not in that.
Yeah.
But in the shitty Andrew Garfield.
I'm not even that big of a fan of the Sony ones that are in the MCU. I mean, they're just okay.
They're
just like
okay.
Most of the MCU.
They're
just
head and shoulders above all the other Sony stuff.
They're head and
But
shoulders
we're going
above
to
the
compare it
Amazing
to shit.
Spider-Man
Of course,
Okay,
it's great.
You are right that they are like middle of the road for like the MCU as a whole.
Yeah. if you're gonna compare it to shit, okay, yes, you're right. It's not total shit, but I don't think that's a fair comparson.
I don't want
Everything's
this
gonna
shit
win if you
tainting
compare
my
it to shit.
solid B+ movies that they've been putting out. I will
Alright.
gladly settle for a passing grade here, and I don't want Sony throwing down the curve.
I don't know. I got some Venom number 200 news, but it's just Donny Cates having a little blurb about it.
Yeah.
want me to-
Marvel delayed the Eternals from
Yeah, I
November
was
to
gonna mention that.
January.
Yeah,
I
do
assume
that
that's so
one.
that it's closer to when the movie comes out.
That's always what it is. It's
Oh,
always
but
what
that's
the
not coming
movie
out
is.
till like November, so
I heard
don't know.
another theory that they
Well, I
were
guess the trade will be out when the movie's coming out. So
true.
maybe
I
that's
heard
their
another
reasoning.
theory that said before the movie moved, they were actually rushing the comic.
Well,
to
yeah.
get it out.
Now it gives Assad Ribic time to finish
Exactly.
the work.
That's
That's
the
the
main
rumor
reason
I
for that.
heard.
I don't care much about the Eternals as a characters, mostly because I don't know them particularly well.
There's a
But
Neil
that
Gaiman
creative
run that you
team
can
has
I'll
check
been
read
out.
anything that Assad Ribic does, though.
Assad Ribic, yeah, he could be drawing just like what he sees in like his
soup.
cereal bowl in the
Yeah.
morning, yeah, and I would want to read it. And Kieran Gillen's not no slub either, you know.
No, he's not.
For sure. Taylor, there's a Neil Gaiman run on Eternals that you should check out, dude.
That sounds cool.
It's quite good. That's Neil Gaiman.
Okay, well,
Of course, it's good.
it's more of like I just don't know enough about the Eternals to like be seeking out books. So I'm not against, I don't think
But
they're
at
bad characters. Per
At
se.
least it'll be a good read, even if you don't
Yeah.
like the characters, because it's Neil Gaiman.
True
All right, who
enough.
else got news before I wrap it with the food news?
New Mutants is finally coming out on DVD. They're finally shitting it out.
They should just go direct to Disney Plus at this point. Just put it out.
Oh,
on
that's another
streaming.
bit of news there.
put it out
Apparently,
on
that's what they're
streaming.
doing with the newer Pixar movie that's coming out.
Yeah, Soul, which
Um,
looks incredibly deep and emotional.
I mean,
Pixar.
oh, it looks so good.
I'm sure that since it's Pixar, it's the worst they've ever done is like a B-. So I'm sure it'll be
I
good.
don't-
But
I don't
I
know
guess
about
the
that.
silence gomer. But anyway, I think the larger implication
Cars
here
too.
is that I guess that the
That's a
premium
solid
thing,
James Bond spoof.
but wait, what were you saying?
I was talking about shit on Cars 2. I was like, have you seen Cars 2? It's terrible.
Well,
Okay, I'm
no,
just kidding.
but I never saw it, so I can't accurately judge it. I guess, but
I'm
I guess
just
the
kidding.
the
It's
larger
wonderful.
implication here is that whatever they were doing with Mulan, with like the premiere access stuff, must not have panned out because they are just putting this straight onto regular ass Disney Plus.
Yeah,
They
there was-
delayed all of their Marvel movies too right afterwards, so it
Yeah.
must not have panned out
So
the way they
yeah.
were.
it must have underperformed what they were expecting to get
Well,
out
they
of
were
that.
charging $30 for it. That's
Yeah,
a little
well,
steep.
I saw someone make the argument that
I mean, it
it's
is
a
a
whole
good deal.
family that
It
does
is a
kind
good
of
deal
pan
for
out.
that. Yes,
Yeah,
but still,
If it's-
$30 for something you're already paying for every month.
that's
If
a
it's-
big
no,
ass
that's
when that's
not-
the
that's not
only
even
thing
it
on the
for me.
roster.
That's not even it for me. Mulan, $30? No. $20? Maybe. $15? Definitely. Black Widow, $45 day one. It's mine. I'm renting it. I'm serious.
Maybe not for
$45. I will rent
45.
because you get it forever.
Okay, I will say though that if they had more than just Mulan, like if I was paying $30 for like Mulan but also all the MCU stuff, if I was paying for like Black Widow and all these other movies they got coming in the pipes, maybe even Soul, maybe I'd be tempted at least.
How about like a Disney Plus where you pay $30 a month, very high for a streaming service, but yes, you get all of their theatrical releases as soon as they hit the theaters.
It's an idea.
I would for Disney, I would jump all over that, dude. I would jump all over that.
I'm still
That's
hoping
a little high for me, but
It's a lot of damn
it's
good
not
movies, though.
It's not a
day
bad
one.
idea though.
my ideal situation is still they just kind of pick up where they left off eventually when it's safer for theaters to reopen.
Yeah, we'll see.
I do like going to the theaters, but I recognize
if
that
there are
that might
theaters.
be kind of an outdated idea at this point. I don't know.
Well, if there are theaters at that point.
I mean, the
Yeah,
trend
right.
was probably already eventually going to lead us to just streaming everything anyway, but
I think
I
there's
hope
still,
that this isn't the thing that makes that happen.
I think there still would have been a niche for theaters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
like just like there's still a niche for comic books, you know. There's
Exactly.
still there'll still be people willing to go to a movie theater to see a big movie release.
or
Just
an
not,
old
just
movie,
not right
or
now. Yeah, or an old
just to
movie.
go and do something. But I don't know, because rent still due. You know, these places pay rent on the places that they're leasing, the buildings. They don't
They do.
usually
Yeah.
own the building. So, I mean, all right. Food news. Dr. Pepper, not Dr. Pepper. That's Adam, sure. Let me find it. All right. Mountain Dew has new flavors coming for 2021. There's Baja Bunch and Baja. This is not the right one. I don't have that picture.
God
Anyway,
damn it,
it's Baja Punch and Baja Flash. They're described as tropical and will be coming
Ooh.
out as the 100 Days of Baja promotion in July. The
So are
orange
these
Baja
limited
Punch,
time?
yes, the Baja Punches are limited time. The orange Baja Punch is pretty self-explanatory. It's just, a punch. The yellow Baja Flash is probably a pina colada flavor.
Interesting.
All right, and they're also adding a new flavor,
Major Melon.
Major Melon. This will be a permanent flavor. And then in Christmas time, this is my favorite damn news.
Is this the
they're
watermelon one?
No, the Major Melon is the watermelon one. Yeah, that's
Right.
going to be permanent. Man, Mountain Dew snapped.
Oh, this is that gingerbread one. This one's
it's
gonna be
it's
spicy.
A gingerbread soda.
It's gingerbread Mountain Dew.
I guess it's just ginger ale.
I guess. I mean, but they're saying it's bread, gingerbread.
Gingerbread.
Yeah, I was trying to think of how
It'd
the
be very
bread
sweet.
component factors in here.
Yeah, it's just yeast floating in there.
Yes.
Anyway, the only reason to drink Mountain Dew is to mix it with alcohol. So those are some great flavors to mix with your alcohol. Just
I
saying.
agree.
All right, let's do Moment of Destruction. This might be. It's the short one. I should just delete the long one. The long one is very, very long. All right, we got a bit of news because Adam changed it. Go ahead, Adam. The news.
What do you mean I changed it? It's Transformers news. There's going to be a new Beast Wars book coming out in early 2021, celebrating the 25th anniversary for Beast Wars. It's going to be written by Eric Burnham. He's the guy who did the Transformers Ghostbusters book, right?
It was the best Transformers book out at the time.
Yeah, that's low praise. This is a low bar, but yeah, it was. But man, look at all that art. That art's great.
That's the issue number 2 cover by Winston Chan.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, I'll read it.
I love me some Beast Wars.
I'll read it.
Beast Wars was the very first Transformers thing I had ever seen.
Same here.
I definitely have fond memories of it.
See, I'm a G1er. I'm an old man, so I'm a big fan of the G1 stuff.
Well, hey, Beast Wars is G1 though.
Oh, not really. Come on.
Yes, it is. It's part of G1
not.
continuity.
It's not. It doesn't count. All right, let's move on to the books. You want to cover one of or both of these? Did you even read the Dead Game?
Oh no, I didn't read the Dead Game.
All right, let's do Dead Game first. Then Rob Liefeld, Chad Bowers, and Rob Liefeld. They say Rob Liefeld did the story. I don't think he did. A forgettable action
Put
comic.
his name on the book so he can get a check.
Yeah, Liefeld has this unique style that is either loved or hated. I hate it. But ignoring that, while this has some solid action going on, it's an otherwise forgettable story with no real depth. It honestly feels more like a showcase for the art. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Just not for me. Talk about the best Transformers comic I've read in at least 6 months. Let's get into it.
Oh man, yeah, Transformers: Back to the Future #1. What was the team on it?
Oh, Kevin Scott and Juan Samu. Yeah,
so basically in this one, the events of Back to the Future happen. And when Marty uses the time machine, the Decepticons see all of this happen and learn about the time machine. And I guess they somehow use the time machine to go back in time and enslave the Earth. And Marty just wakes up one day. And
it's actually right after the events of the first Back to the Future movie, which are technically the beginning events of the Back to the Future movie. But anyway.
Right.
He goes to bed, and instead of the next day waking up to his girlfriend and Doc coming back for part 2, the world is enslaved by the Decepticons. It's so rad.
Yep, and Biff is working for him. He's like their commander. They're all
dark as hell, dude.
Yeah, all of Earth is enslaved. They're all working in Energon mines, making Energon cubes.
Yeah,
it's great. And Yeah, and Marty gets chased by Starscream at one point, and right before Starscream does him in, the time machine shows up, the DeLorean shows up, and transforms into a robot,
I was
into an
going to ask if
Autobot.
that happens. That
Of
sounds
course
right.
it happens. You know
That's
it
the
happens.
cliffhanger.
Yeah, it had
that's
to.
the cliffhanger. And there's a toy out. There's a,
Oh, yeah,
a
definitely.
figure.
Is Doc Brown still in the picture
Yeah,
after?
Yeah.
Okay.
we think.
That's good.
We haven't seen him after the events of whatever, but
Okay.
man, this reminds me of my biggest problem in Back to the Future, where Doc Brown helps terrorists. Just saying, no one ever wants to talk about it.
he
It's the
didn't
elephant in the
actually
room.
help the terrorists.
He helped the terrorists.
He cheated the terrorists.
Dude,
He didn't
don't
give
try
them
to
what they
make it
wanted.
He
Don't
used
try to-
terrorism.
It does make it better.
He used
It legitimately
terrorism for
makes it
his
better.
means, and
He
that's
He
a problem.
manipulated terrorists into giving him the plutonium that he needed.
You're not wrong, but it's something there doesn't sit right with me. But anyway, you were going to say
There
about-
had to be something in the movie that like caused Doc Brown to die and like to have like the time travel dilemma or whatever.
Yeah,
I will
the
not
paradox.
have you say a bad word about Back to the Future.
but
but,
were you going to say something else about this?
Something I wanted to ask. Do we see the Decepticons using the time machine? Because I would love
No,
to see
you don't.
Megatron trying to fit inside of the DeLorean.
It just goes into gun mode and they put him on the passenger seat. Okay. He's a felony at that point, though. All right.
But yeah, this was a fun book, you know.
It was.
There's a lot of nostalgia just all mixed together for you.
Yeah. And a new spin, you
Yeah.
know, with the whole fascist Decepticons taking over Earth in Back to the Future. It's just weird. All right, let's move on to the best part. Oh my God. What a week. What a week. Ten of Swords, the big mutant event going on over there at Marvel Comics, and it was great this week. Let's start with Wolverine number 6, Ben Percy, Victor Bogdanovich. This was Ten of Swords Part 3. Wolverine calls out Krakoa, the island itself.
How'd you like Solemn?
He's awesome.
I thought he was
He's
great
amazing.
too. The exact
like Loki.
opposite of Wolverine. Yeah, exactly.
He's like a Loki character.
nice and
I
suave.
hate that you didn't read these, Taylor.
I just forgot. I mean, I guess there's like nothing else to say about it. But normally I pick up Wolverine anyway, even
You
outside.
got to get it in time too, because they sold out pretty quick.
That probably was the case. I didn't get there until Thursday, and it's likely that I would have picked it up if I had seen it on the shelf. And the fact that I didn't see it on the shelf indicates that I probably just missed the boat.
Yeah.
So really, this is your fault, Gomer.
That's right, because I got my copy. Wolverine calls out Krakoa, the island, as the true instigator here. That's typical Logan fashion, to call out the real person at
he's
fault.
not wrong.
He's not, yeah. And then he goes on this quest to find the Muramasa Blade. The Muramasa Blade was actually introduced in Daniel Way's run. I think it was volume number 3 or 4 of Wolverine.
Most recently, it was destroyed in Tom Taylor's run of All New Wolverine.
Yes, it was. And it's created by the swordsmith Muramasa in Japan. And it can cut through adamantium, but it requires like part of a soul to be forged, kind of like in Harry Potter or something. I don't know. That's basically a rehash, okay, of things that have happened previously in Wolverine continuity. The real interesting parts here are about Solemn, the Iraqi, freaking just badass. He's freaking great. I don't even know how to really explain him, dude.
Well, we need to see more of him first.
Yeah.
I want to see him in real action, you know.
He seems like a badass, like Wolverine, but he doesn't have Wolverine's hard edge. He's got like this soft edge
he's
to
very
him.
he's very I guess suave, I guess a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, suave is probably the best word for it, man. Just very cool. But he's got all kinds of drama with the original 4 Horsemen, where he like murdered War's spouse or partner or something. I'm like, holy crap! But the people of Araco still like love him. Like he's got this weird power there where everybody loves him.
Because he's charismatic.
I don't get it, but I love him. He's amazing. It turns out and he's got adamantium skin. Solemn.
Yeah, you gotta have adamantium. If you're a Wolverine villain, you have to have adamantium.
Exactly.
It's a law.
So it turns out that the swordsmith Muramasa is in hell, and he's being forced to forge blades by the hand. Anyway, X-Force number 13, also by Ben Percy and Victor Bogdanovich. That's Ten of Swords Part 4. It's basically a direct continuation of Wolverine number 6,
Same writer, yeah.
where Logan and Solom team up to take down the Hand so that they can steal Muramasa blades so that they can be in this badass tournament. That sounds so stupid, but dude, it was so badass.
It was pretty dope.
I had a
to watch.
great time.
Yeah.
That does kind of sum up this event in general, right? It sounds incredibly stupid.
That's
But-
every event going on right now.
No shit.
Fair
no
enough,
shit.
but they managed to pull it off. So
Yeah. Now let's get into the even better than that.
Oh, this is by far this is probably the best book of the week.
so good.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into it. Marauders number 13, Vita Ayala and Mateo Lally. This is Ten of Swords Part 5. This is a very well done book. Storm has been going through a lot with having
Double
the
size,
techno
double
virus.
issue. Really big.
Yeah, it was a big double size issue. But this is almost too much for me, dude. What happened in here? Storm needs to acquire Skybreaker, which is an ancient Wakandan weapon, but T'Challa ain't home, and Shuri is being stubborn. It's like, no, if I give you this sword, that could cause, because this is like an ancient weapon. It's like a signifier, a sign,
Right.
an artifact of our country. It's important to our heritage, and giving it to you, who's estranged from the king, who has this complicated relationship, and plus all the politics of Krakoa stacked on top. It's not a good time. So Storm decides to steal the damn thing. And that's my favorite aspect of this issue, I think, is the way Storm convinces herself that she's doing a good thing while she's actually kind of doing a bad thing. There's this gray area.
My favorite part here is how the X-Men are making enemies out of friends.
Yes. But not really friends, just not enemies. They're like picking a fight with people who were neutral. Wakanda was neutral.
They're pushing their weight around,
Wakanda was pretty neutral towards Krakoa, but the characters in the Black Panther circle there were definitely Storm's friends. So
yeah,
in that aspect,
that's an even bigger part of it. Like her and Shuri are having this out and out, and you can tell by the way they're talking. Each one of them knows what the other one's planning on doing. Shuri's like, Storm, I know you're. And she doesn't come out and say it, but you can tell. I know you're going to come and try to steal this thing, and it's like almost like this friendly diplomacy going on.
They used to
be
so
well written, dude. So exactly their family. It's so well written. All right, let me get into some other things first with the story, and then I'll get even deeper into this whole freaking Ten of Swords thing. All right, there's this aspect where she didn't want to re-examine her past with Black Panther. So stealing it was justified emotionally as well, because Shuri was just like, wait for T'Challa to get back, and then you guys can talk about it. She's like, oh, I don't have time. And she didn't. But if she wanted to, she could have called T'Challa, and T'Challa would have come running. And she knew
definitely.
it.
Yeah.
She even admitted it at the end, But
I mean, in a universe where there's like future science and magic and every other damn thing, there is no excuse for like not being able to talk to someone.
Exactly. So there's another thing that I'm really enjoying about this event. It appears that the actions, the stories that are being told while the characters are retrieving these swords have something to do with their past.
And it's going to have consequences that's going to lead to something in the future.
It's like Saturnine is screwing with them, dude.
There is going to be a receipt for stealing that sword at some point. It might not be, Wakanda might not overtly screw them over, but Wakanda is not a friend anymore. They're not going to just help them out.
Let me go back to the Wolverine story.
Wakanda was like the only heavy hitter nation that was at least ambivalent towards Krakoa.
Sure. Let me go back to the Wolverine story. To make a Muramasa blade, it requires a part of the soul. Wolverine had to pay a price for getting that weapon. And he went to hell, which is, again, and with all the Muramasa stuff, is him opening an old wound. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Same thing with Storm here. Dude, that's mind-blowing to me right now because, okay, this should be terrible, all right? 5 chapters into a 22-chapter story. Things are focused and entertaining, but yes, they're a bit drawn out. I expect a Marvel event to be drawn out, but not focused or entertaining, and definitely not engaging. This is engaging me.
I will say the specific
about what's
issues,
going on.
the issues do a really good job of focusing on one specific aspect of the story.
Yeah.
I will say though that the whole event as a whole is starting to feel a little drawn out. I'm ready for some sword fights, man.
I am too, but they're still going to continue to tell these stories where they're fetching their weapons. You know what I mean?
Well,
So,
they'll keep doing that until they get up to that stasis. I'm sure that's when
I was about to say. It looks like they have
they
have a pretty solid goalpost here, right?
framework.
It's going to be all like preposition, like preparing and stuff until they get to there, and then I'm sure at the second half it's going to be all just slobber knockers and stuff.
Yeah. So here's another aspect. While Aurora, Storm, and Wolverine are both dealing with aspects of their past, because Wolverine, he goes to Japan, he's reminded of his ex-old lady and his son and all this stuff. Their pasts are coming back to haunt them. The entire genesis of this story is Apocalypse and Krakoa's past coming back to haunt them. It's just this big circle that Hickman has created. So you guys just write around this circle, and we cannot
it's
lose.
Hickman dealing with X-Men continuity, because that's always the problem with X-Men is that the specter of X-Men continuity always comes to haunt you.
He's sort of using it,
but he's using it as a story device.
Oh, it's just perfect. Now, last thing on X-Men this week. Again, the map of Otherworld, the 10 kingdoms, the 10 Otherworld kingdoms, these courts. They added some new ones. This is the Fae one from X Factor 4 and the Roma Regina from X Factor 4. This one is the Crooked Market. I think we've already seen that one too.
That's from Wolverine, I think.
Oh, that's from Wolverine. The Infury, the Everforge. That's from
X-Force.
X-Force. And then Mercator, which I'm not even sure what the hell that place is. And then the Sevalith, which is like some freaking vampires and shit living there. I just want you to look at this again. There are 10 courts of Otherworld. That's not a coincidence either. It's not a coincidence that Hickman is throwing in these infographics about places that we should not care about because they said no words about them in the story. This is what this is.
This is just when you're in Mortal Kombat. This is just level select. There's 10 realms. There's going to be hidden fights with swords. The fight's just going to happen in each one of these realms.
I don't know, man.
That being said, though, Hickman will take any excuse to do his info dump pages.
I love
those.
Definitely.
They're usually great. I love reading them,
parts.
but I'm sure he can be like, do they really know about the Baxter building? I better do an info dump on this.
I think Hickman should stop writing comics and go to his real passion. He should just start writing encyclopedias for people.
Doing design work. So that's Adam's theory.
He probably does write them as a reference for himself as he's writing these damn things.
Right? That just makes me love them even more. So Adam believes...
Oh, not a complaint, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Adam believes that these Otherworld kingdoms, these 10 worlds, are going to be the battlegrounds, like Mortal Kombat levels. Great idea. I think there's got to be a bigger twist to them.
Oh, I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's something deeper than that.
Yeah, there's 10 of them. Saturnine is way too big for her britches. Somebody is going to come in and throw the smack down. The whole point of this story is to get permission to travel through Otherworld to get to other places. The Araki want to get to Krakoa. The Krakoans want to get to Arako. So why wouldn't these other courts be like, hey, what the hell? We want permission to go too, because she stopped that. You're not allowed to travel between these realms anymore. So I don't know. So interesting to me, man. I am so knee deep in this. So do we want to talk Joker War, or do we just want to get into let's get into top 3 and then
let's just get into top 3.
Let me just get mine out of the way. I can do some honorable mentions. Decorum number 5 by Hickman and Huddleston was another masterclass of comics. America Ronin, pretty good. Still a way out there for me to really jump on board, but a pretty good debut.
I love American Ronin.
Firepower number 4, Kirkman and Samney still on all the rails, but 3, 2, 1, Wolverine number 6, X-Force number 13, Marauders number 13. I'm knee deep and no point of return on Ten of Swords. I loved it that much. So it's you two guys, man. We already talked about my books.
All right, so I guess I'll go.
So much.
My number 3 was Batman 100. I picked things that wasn't X-Men because those were going to be my top 3, but I wanted to talk about something else. Joker War has been definitely a mixed bag overall. And I would definitely lean to say that the story has been more bad than good. But I do like some of the specific character work that has happened within this story.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair.
I think Harley has progressed very well. I really enjoy how she has she's definitely moved past the Joker now at this point.
Yeah.
She's definitely her own character now.
Harley had a lot more depth in this story than I've seen elsewhere, which is good.
Yeah, it's good. And then I like the whole Clown Hunter part at the end.
Was that not a failure? Her shooting him at the end? She did not mean
I just want to talk about that.
She wanted to murder him.
Did Joker just get shot through the goddamn eye?
But that's not
he's just like,
that character.
Hey, Harley, you got me.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
But she didn't kill him after that. She left him there.
I guess. But
and then there's some growth with Batman there too, because he didn't save the Joker.
Yeah, that was a good character moment. Okay, so
hold on, no, stop for a
Gomer.
second. No, he did not save the Joker because he knew the Joker was going to escape. He was wearing a bat suit. He knew Joker was going to escape.
Right, but he didn't play the Joker's game.
That's true.
Him.
That was a good moment. That was probably the ultimate quote unquote defeat for the Joker here. Is Bruce just being like,
Batman refusing to play his game?
Yeah,
you're not wrong there.
So that was a cool moment. And I actually
like the Clown Hunter part at the end.
Yeah, the Clown Hunter stuff was good. I actually like the stuff at the beginning with Oracle. Batgirl going back to being Oracle. That was kind of a cool little moment for her.
It seemed to come out of left field for me. I understand that things were like bad at the time, so it's like, oh, we need somebody to do the play-by-play for us. We need the person in the chair. But it did seem just to come out of left field for that.
I think that Barbara Gordon is a better character.
That's one of my big
Oracle
complaints overall.
100% agree. I'm just saying. It in the context of the whole story, of the whole arc, it didn't seem like that just happened organically. It just seems like, things are tough.
That's probably a good
overall with the story is that none of this seems like it happened organically. It seems like it seems like Titanian is just rushing through all of this stuff, which knowing that his story was supposed to end at 100, I can see why he kind of rushed through all of it.
Sure,
but
still, it was definitely overly rushed. But the art was fantastic.
The art was fantastic. Let me go on a rant. Go ahead, Taylor.
Let me finish up the nice things before you go on your rant.
That's perfect. Perfect.
Okay. At first, I was kind of like, they just immediately say, oh yeah, Joker's fine. He just shows up again at the end and everything. But I actually kind of appreciate them not bullshitting us. Like, is the Joker dead? Is this the last? Of course it's fucking not. And they're not even like pretending like it is. So I actually appreciate that.
That trope must be too old in the 100 of other shitty old tropes they use throughout this entire arc. That's fine. That's fine.
Like Adam said, there were good character moments scattered throughout. I liked Bruce's dream vision with Alfred a couple issues back, where Alfred's
slaps the shit out
slaps
of him
and slaps the flavor out of his mouth and is get your fucking shit together.
I like how it focuses on the consequences of Batman doing his thing, doing his crime fighting thing, how it negatively affects normal people. I enjoyed how Clown Hunter was like, hey man, you were beating the shit out of my mom and dad's corpse and you left it to burn on fire because of your stupid clown crusade.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
But still, it doesn't change Batman at all. He's not impacted by that. All right, I think this was a missed opportunity where you could have had some real exploration of Batman and Joker. Sure, it's the overused Batman loses everything sort of story, but this had a great twist with him losing his fortune, which, I'm sorry, it's the only power Batman truly has, is he's got a lot of money. While Joker gets it, but Bruce also loses.
I would say his other
compass,
great power
Alfred.
is he is very determined.
Well, but it never really felt like Batman had lost that power. Right. All right. Sure, he had determination, but it also seemed like he still had all of the.
He still had all of his
gadgets. Billionaire would have. He had all.
Yeah,
of his
it's not like they
gadgets,
just vanished into thin air because his money was gone. Yeah,
it wasn't like Iron Man 3 where there was a whole scene where it was just Tony Stark beating up henchmen to break into the Mandarin's place.
But then the way the Joker torments Batman by using the money just seems like it was overplayed. He just did it to be this maniac. Why couldn't it be something where he's actually using the money like a maniac, but in legal ways, like billionaires do? This was capitalist propaganda, dude. This entire arc.
My biggest complaint about the story is it has something. This always turns me off of a story arc. It was my biggest problem with what's his name, who did Uncanny Avengers a few years ago, where it's like everything's like throughout the whole story. Yeah, I guess throughout the whole story, it's like, oh no, it's hopeless, it's hopeless, it's hopeless. We've won now. You know, they just like instantly flip that switch where like everything's dire and hopeless, and there's no way they could possibly win, and then they just win.
Yeah.
Like, there
was definitely that in this book.
Joker called out Batman or Bruce Wayne for tax law violations earlier in this. Like, he calls out Wayne Enterprises for all that stuff.
Once
he has the fortune, but that's just ignored. There's also this angle where the billionaire, right, is so dumb that he allows his fortune and his business to get stolen by a madman who uses it to torment a city. And that's okay, Mr. Billionaire, just don't let it happen again. He's got a golden parachute, dude. I'm sorry, this was capitalist propaganda. Why couldn't you have the poor guy actually win over the rich guy in a solid role reversal where the hero and the villain have their alter egos swapped? Not their roles, their alter egos, where Batman is now the lonely guy in the street who has to work by his actual wits to actually get shit done. And Joker has so many resources at his disposal, not really normal for him, where he just goes so over the top that it doesn't work. And he's disappointed. Remember when Doom won? Remember when Doom won and he was bored? That's what I wanted from this out of Joker. Where he won but was bored at the end. Well, because being a billionaire
that was like one of the best arcs ever.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a story I think you're talking about, that was Jonathan Hickman writing it. So yeah.
No, I don't know. I think it might be older than that.
That was Hickman.
Yeah, that was in Fantastic Four when like
Hickman's Fantastic Four run.
He had he went into that old place where like the Council of Reeds was. Oh, here's an Infinity Gauntlet. Here's an Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah. And like, but then like when they get him back and it's like, I was a god, but it was beneath me.
Yeah.
I love Hickman's Doom.
Oh, me too.
Sorry, that's nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I hadn't thought about that in a while. And I thought
the Clown Hunter ending was lame. I think they shouldn't have had. It's just an excuse to make Batman look like a badass, where he can track down anybody. No, they should have made Clown Hunter a little bit more badass than that, than just the normal cop out where he's eventually going to be another Robin. Screw you.
That's the whole point of this character, I think, is that he's not some badass. He's not like some sort of like assassin trained
everyday dude.
He's a kid with a baseball
Robin
bat.
Swinging from the freaking trapeze. Neither. I'm just saying.
It absolutely makes sense that Batman could find him whenever he wanted because he is just a kid. That's
what Batman does. He finds
just
people.
A kid. He's not like he didn't have to infiltrate the League of Assassins. He didn't have to go through the Illuminati. He just had to like.
And all he wore was one stupid helmet. He still wore like his school uniform every time he was
I get it. It's
people.
Just weird to me. All right, dude. An entire city, billions of dollars of
damage.
There's
lots of complaints to level
here.
Thousands
of people dead, but Batman's going to focus on this preteen
is not
who's actually doing some good work. It makes no sense.
He likes some preteens. We know this already.
The punchline victim thing is dumb.
Sure, he went and
oh yeah, that is really dumb.
The punchline playing the victim thing.
Oh, I didn't care for that. Yeah, I mean that's just annoying.
The Bane thing.
Punchline is kind of an annoying character in general.
She is.
She's a bit villain. A little bit.
The Bane thing to me felt more like Tynion was shitting on Tom King than anything else. Like, how could you have Bane murder Alfred, not even in front of Batman? You know, you wasted that. And then he talks so much shit on Bane saying, you think you're Gotham's biggest villain. You ain't. I am. Screw you.
He definitely was talking shit on some Tom King, but to
be fair, I was kind of talking shit on Bane too towards the end.
Oh, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I hated all of this, man. I am stoked for the new villain, the Ghostmaker.
Oh, he's Wrath 2.0.
I hate that name, but the design looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Ghostmaker is like the like third attempt at a GI Joe character name.
He's Destiny Batman.
He comes with a crystal ball. He comes with a crystal ball. He's Ghostmaker and a Ouija board. Ghostmaker. All right, Taylor, your number 3 book.
For my number 3, like I said, I didn't read too many this week, so big asterisk next to my ranking here. But I probably would have put some X books. They sound pretty cool, but I'm going to go with Thor number 7.
Okay.
Mostly because of one scene that I liked where Thor was teaching this mechanic dude how to fly. It was a really sweet moment. It was a cool spread. The comic itself as a whole was a bit of a forced fight between Thor and Iron Man. Well, not much of a fight. Iron Man like walloped him with the hammer, but
he picked up the hammer.
Well, everybody
picking up the hammer.
That's exactly the point of the story. Is that apparently like the whole worthiness taboo is broken now, and just any fucker can pick it up now.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
This mechanic, not you, definitely not you, right. But most people could be able to pick it up.
He still has the damn hammer still has some standards.
Yeah, surely the hammer is not so down in the gutter that you can pick it up. But the whole thing where like they get Iron Man to smack Thor with a hammer felt really forced. Like they were both being pretty unreasonable. Like they were both like, Iron Man's like, "You explain this right now," and Thor's like, "No," and then he just like hit him with a hammer. I didn't care for that, and it seemed like they were setting this up for like I forget his name. The mechanic dude was going to be a Thor stand-in for a while, but they did not. He just immediately gave the hammer back. So that's kind of lame. But I enjoyed the interactions for the most part.
What is Donny Cates doing with this book? What is his direction?
Apparently, the next thing is going to be bringing back the Donald Blake persona.
That's weird.
Based off of some advice he got from Iron Man and Mechanic Dude, he's like, you know what? I should try to get some more human perspective again. Which, not a bad idea per se. I guess we'll see how it pans out. But the Donald Blake persona is kind of useless baggage on the Thor character, though, you know?
At this point, yes.
Like, back when they were first introduced the character, it was like kind of like even the Fantastic Four, like very briefly had this whole like secret identity thing going on. So
it's mostly
just a relic.
The best usage of that in modern times was in the first Thor movie, where they just used it as his alias for a
JMS,
2-second joke.
Krasinski's Thor run, he had a pretty good Donald Blake sort of
I like their kind of like inner monologue thing they had going on, but even then it wasn't much of a secret. And also J. Michael Krasinski's a good writer, so he can make things work that might not work otherwise.
I'm okay with them using it if they're gonna like sort of like you alluded to, they're gonna try to give Thor some new morality, ethical perspective on the human race, and he's
reground himself. Yeah, especially now that he's king, maybe he could use a fresh dose of humility.
Exactly,
that could be a decent angle to go off of.
Yeah, well, I trust Donny Cates. I didn't read this for some reason. I'm not sure why I skipped it. Oh well.
Well, we talked about this before, but this Thor run is already going to start off with a huge anchor around its neck that it's following Jason Aaron's.
And it's been pretty damn good, though, with that whole...
It's been pretty solid. It has obviously not been as good as Jason Aaron's, but it's fun stuff. I'm enjoying it month after month.
Sweet. Adam, number 2.
My number 2, We Only Find Them When They're Dead, number 2.
Man, that was cool.
Al Ewing, Boom Studios... Man,
Simone DeMeo is my favorite part of this.
Definitely. He's the boy. The art is what sells this book. It's got that sort of anime style to it.
It reminds me of Don Bluth movies.
Yeah. In this movie, or in this issue, basically it's just the crew making their escape, their jump into, I guess, the void to try to find a living god.
Yeah.
And when they make the jump, they're getting followed by another one of the Richter, one of the inspectors, or whoever is guarding the bodies. However, all that works.
They're not like these cadaver ships that it's kind of like Nowhere, where they're like mining a dead god's body for stuff.
Right, and they have like a police that kind of monitors them, and one of the police officers is following them. This issue really dives into the reasons why a lot of the characters are going to try to find this god.
It was very well paced. Like it would tell you what's going on, and the ship has ears. It's like, well, how the fuck are you guys talking about this if the ship has ears if everyone's hearing you? But they go back in time, and for years they've been planning this, dude. And it really opens up not so much the universe, but the character dynamics.
Right.
Right. How friendly, and they're like a family.
They still are very sparse on giving you details for things just period going on in the universe. But it's still working very well. I like all the character dynamics, and I'm in for this book. I want to see where it goes.
Me too. I hope it's a long run too. There's a lot of stuff they could do here. Awesome. Taylor, number 2. Good choice. I love that book. Did you not read that book, Taylor? You're not reading that book?
I did not.
You should trade weight on that, because I bet it'll read.
That's what I usually do. I usually pick up anything that isn't Marvel or DC. I usually wait for trade.
Yeah. Good choice. This'll read so well in trade. It'll read so fast. I bet.
Probably.
These first 2 issues, because I reread issue.
They read like
1.
that. Yeah, it
read really fast.
Well, yeah, especially with Image, they usually read better as a trade. Oh, sorry, my mistake.
Well, it might as well be an Image book. Boom has really come up with garnering creator-owned work. Once in Future, Red Mother. There's a lot of stuff that Boom is doing that would not surprise you if you saw it over at Image Comics. You know what I mean? So. Good on Boom. Go ahead, Taylor. Number 2 book.
Okay, for my number 2, I'm going to do the most recent issue of Magnificent Miss Marvel.
Okay.
I particularly like this character. She's my favorite character to come out in the last decade or so, and I feel like that's a pretty. Yeah, I feel like that's a pretty popular opinion, but I have not been following this stuff in the Champions book where the teen vigilantes are
the outlawed stuff.
Yeah.
I read Champions number 1 this week. It was also drawn by Simone DeMeo. That was nice having a double dose. It was okay.
But the main reason I like this book is that I think that there were some good character moments thrown in. Kamala's boarding cast includes a character named Bruno who they've been teasing out the whole will they or won't they thing, and earlier in this run they actually did kiss and everything, but both of them had a pretty mature conversation about it about midway through it, where they're like, you know what, we should probably not. And I appreciate the hell out of them not making it this stupid dramatic bullshit.
Saladin Ahmed still? Ahmed?
Yeah.
Nice. They should give him those young stuff. He's really killing over there. He was doing Miles Morales too for a while.
I really enjoyed his Black Bolt.
While, yeah.
He was running Black Bolt, I think, was the thing I read of his.
Oh, dude,
that was good shit.
Black Bolt. I think it won an Eisner or something. It won something.
I don't know.
That Black Bolt book though wasn't really a Black Bolt book. It was more of an Absorbing Man book, really.
It was Prison Break.
Yeah.
It's Prison Break with the Absorbing Man.
I'll be damned if it didn't make me feel empathy for the fucking Absorbing Man.
Every time I saw him as a villain, just as his cookie cutter persona villain, I did feel that, oh, why didn't they keep that kind of going a little bit, Stupid. That's cool. Dude, so you're not reading any of the outlaw stuff?
I am not.
It's a fun little premise. You know what I mean?
I'm sure
all the kids. Yeah. Especially nowadays when, children are our future. I mean, Whitney Houston said it 50 years ago, but still, they still are. So, yeah. Marvel needs some kids reading their books, I guess. Number 1, Adam.
My number 1 this week was American Ronin number 1 from AWA. It was Peter Milligan and ACO doing the art. ACO is really, really the one who killed it for me this week.
Best work from that artist to date.
Oh, definitely. That artist did a Midnighter run a couple of years ago for DC. That was fantastic. The art definitely sold that one also. This one, this is just a really tight sort of spy assassin story. They're sparse on the details for you, but it's just you're watching this Ronin, this American Ronin, just follow this rich guy that he's going to kill, and then he uses he has these weird empathy powers where it's really weird where where if he injects himself with the DNA of somebody, he knows exactly what they're feeling.
So he can like tarn them to death. He can just talk them to death.
Kind of, yeah, because that's what he does to the guy at the end of this
Yeah.
one. He tarns him and he talks to him and convinces him to jump out of the window of his skyscraper because
The
that's
most
what he really
screwed
wants
up
to do.
part about the whole thing is they still knew it was him at the end.
Yes.
They still like this dude goes to like just all these methods. Like he talks to this girl and he knows this girl because he used her DNA and he's able to like convince her.
Yeah, that's the
to
biggest thing.
just-
There was never any question on the bad guys that it was the American Ronin dude.
Yeah,
the
they
entire
knew.
time.
But he goes through this long. Dude, it would have been better just to bomb the entire building he was
Just
in.
to come out and start
easier.
guns blazing and start shooting. But the artwork is fantastic.
Oh,
I love
man.
ACO. He does all this thing where he does a lot of splash pages, but then he has little tiny panels inside of the splash page. And it's very sequential, so it makes all the action scenes flow really
yes.
well.
Yeah, you're so right. Milligan wrote this, Peter Milligan, and man, he is really doing like these vague but deep and specific dives into the persona of individuals. But then by the end of like the page where you're like, oh my gosh, that was so profound, that character doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah, that
On
character
to the next one.
dies.
And it's like, what the hell is he doing? He wrote that character where I want to read 50 issues all about this character, but now that character's dead now. Sorry. And it was I wanted to put this on my top 3 just because of that art, but Milligan's story just was
It's a little all over the place.
it's weird,
but the
dude.
art
It's
is
so weird.
fantastic. I
Yeah.
will always sing the praises of ACO.
Yeah.
It's great.
But yeah, definitely a must-read issue, man, because it's just that weird. I don't know if I've ever heard of a person who has that sort of superpower where
It was so
they
weird.
inject the DNA of someone
And then you know how they feel.
and you know like their thoughts and feelings and like after the fact, like he was still suffering from this dude's depraved mind. Like after the dude had died, it
He was
hadn't
still
worn
feeling
off yet.
suicidal because that dude was feeling suicidal.
Yeah, and he like got in a fight during his getaway, and he's like, I got to shake off this dude's persona because he's a wuss. You know, he wouldn't win in a fight. He doesn't have the guts to win in a fight, so he like had to overcome. It was weird, dude, but I loved it. It was quite good, quite good. Good choice. I'm glad we got to mention that book. That's AWA Studios.
AWA, yeah.
Yeah, all their trades for their first run books.
It's a 5-issue mini, I think. So it's not a bad investment.
Yeah.
Maybe wait for trade.
Taylor, numero uno for the week.
I'm gonna do Black Widow #2.
Oh, good choice. I read this as well.
It's an interesting premise they got set up here, where Black Widow apparently is set up in like an arcade simulation thing that he's got going on, except it's not entirely him controlling it. There's this mysterious group of people hired him to put him out in the middle of the Bay, to put her out in the middle of the Bay Area, and she has like a husband and a 1-year-old kid for somehow.
But she's only been gone for like a
3
week.
months, yeah.
Oh yeah, 3 months. Okay. Either way, not long enough to become pregnant and have a child.
So there's an interesting kind of mystery aspect to this because we don't really know what's going on yet. So I guess I'll have to put a big asterisk here. If it turns out that there's like the big explanation is stupid as shit, it might kind of retroactively ruin this book. But I don't think that's going to happen. It's been pretty good so far.
It's Kelly Thompson.
Yeah. That was the main reason. I missed the #1 when it came out the first time, but then I was like saw one of the advertisements like, oh, Kelly Thompson's writing this book.
Yeah.
I should go back and read that first issue. And I did. I enjoyed it.
Elena Casagrande is doing the art with Jordi Belair doing colors. It's the
artwork is
creative team, dude.
Yeah, it's amazing. There's this one part where she goes to thwart a altercation, and she like old muscle memory takes over, and she just starts wrecking these thug dudes, and it was beautiful artwork.
It's like she's surprised.
Yeah,
to the point where I don't know how I was just able to do what I did.
Yeah, and then like at the end of the issue, it's like, have I been putting together a bomb? Oh yeah, I have been. I don't know that.
Did you notice her kid's name's Steve?
Yeah, I did notice that.
That's weird to me.
That's weird.
Especially since her two ex-lovers are the two trying to track her down.
Speaking of
Soldier and Hawkeye.
Her fiance is named James, which is Bucky's real first name.
I don't know if that was a coincidence or not either. I
I
don't.
think they pointed out another like coincidental name. I forget what it was. Oh, it might have been the babysitter.
I don't.
I don't know.
The babysitter was a real mystery. Like they made a big
Yeah.
deal out of Arcade and both of the unknown benefactors or whatever dudes pulling the strings, people pulling the strings. They didn't know who she was either. So that's exciting. Who is this character? Having that third little aspect there, but worth it to read just to find out what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, even if you're just looking at the art, it's worth it for that. But the story's been very intriguing. I am on board for seeing how this all plans out.
Yeah, me too. 100%. Man, good picks this week. There wasn't a lot, but there was enough. No DC books. That was weird.
Except I mean, you spent the entire shitting all over his DC book. Maybe I had a DC book lined up, and I was like, "Oh no, I better
scared.
not."
Better not do it. Yeah, get yelled at.
No, but I will give Adam a few weeks ago mentioned Speed Metal, that book with the flashes in it.
Mm-hmm.
I did pick that up this week, and I did enjoy it. So
it's cool, wasn't
thanks for putting that on my radar. Yeah, it was like a nice little sort of.
It's a history almost, but
it was a nice little peek
it was sorry for shitting on you, Wally.
Yeah, pretty much. I like the meta narrative where that's
all that issue was.
It was coaster DC of them having no idea what to do with the character for Wally West.
It was DC editorial directly talking to Wally, saying, sorry, didn't know what to do with you for 10 years.
Yeah.
We're still going to kill you at the end of this event, so just be careful. We're sorry in advance.
Old grievance at this point, but Wally was always a better character than Barry, and they should have just let Barry stay dead.
Barry admitted to it in this.
Yeah.
In that book you're talking about. Barry himself
said,
that
was what's fun about
always
that book.
The better Flash.
Yeah, like you had grown up, you had started a family, you had done all these interesting things that Barry never did when he was the Flash.
Yeah. But Barry being that dysfunctional has its own appeal. You know what I mean?
I guess.
So, anyway.
Well, they had to, like, when they reintroduced Barry, they had to, like, shoehorn in. They had to shoehorn in this whole thing, like, your dad was framed for the murder of your mother, just to, like.
Well, they've gotten rid of that. That's not a thing anymore.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Finally.
But now the whole thing is the reason why Barry is such a wreck and always doubts himself all the time is because the Reverse Flash is whispering in his ear all the time.
Through the Speed Force.
I mean, honestly, does the Reverse Flash have nothing better to do?
No, he doesn't.
Like he travels through time, so he goes on these kicks. He's got ADD,
He never does
200 years
except for fuck around.
That's so funny. Dude, how about a book where all the different versions of the Dark Multiverse flashes? Like there's a Gorilla Grodd Flash. That
was cool. That was a fun little kind of like continuity nod, I guess.
I love that stuff from Death Metal, man. That's all it feels like to me is like a weird continuity nod in a lot of cases. Anyway, if you listen this long, thanks.
I still hate the Batman who laughs.
Oh no, I hate him too. He's a Mary Sue. He's terrible, but I get it. Everything else he is the villain in the worst event ever. That is the best event ever with the worst villain. I mean, that's really the only way to put it.
I kind of agree.
You know what I mean?
I mean, he's the perfect villain for DC.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for listening. We're streaming this on Facebook and on YouTube and on Periscope, which is Twitter. So if you're listening on those 3 platforms, go to the other 2 platforms and like us. We would really, really appreciate getting all those numbers. Check us out. OutrightGeeker.com is still a thing, and even when it's not a thing, it's going to be a landing page for everything else we do. So check that out. Patreon.com/OutrightGeekery to give us $1. That would be awesome if you did that. We'd appreciate it. Check out all the other shows that we've got going on. We got a lot of podcasts here. We have the review show tomorrow. Tuesday, we're doing top 5 MC or comic book movies that are not in the MCU, no animation, must have a theatrical release. And then we're going to do graphic novels down the road. Next week, the first episode of the Geek Tyrion collection, worst name for a podcast ever. We're going to talk about They Live.
It's not that bad.
It's not. You're right.
I dig the name.
Awesome. So yeah, we're going to do that for They Live. We also have a bunch of other shows up here. We got the Comic Book Bullies. They're going to be with us Tuesday for Top 5, cannot wait for them. That's Leroy and Eli just talking shit on pop culture. We also have Creators Outlet with Big Willie talking to different comic book creators from around all over. He also does Creators Corner. Is he Creators Corner? I don't know. He does 5-minute reviews too. What else do we got on this network, man? We got so much. It's too much. It's too much. But what else? Do we have anything? Is there something else? Am I missing something?
I don't think so. I think you went through it all.
Awesome. We did it all. So yeah, thanks for hanging out. To everybody, tell your friends, share us out on social media. Most of all, I want to thank these two jokers, Taylor and Adam, for hanging out with this joker.
Anytime, man.
And we're gonna do it again soon.
Right. Same geek time, same geek channel.
That's what I like to see. That's what I like to see. Some effort, some energy.
You only get it once a month.
Once a month. Once every 4 or 5 episodes.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Yup.